Hi, my name is Ismail, and welcome to the third section of this tutorial. Here we're going to talk about sales record, how to record sales. So in the previous tutorial, we talked about how to register a product and how to add more quantity to a product. And over here, we're going to talk about how to sell item itself, how to make it reflect on the inventory. So now, what is going to happen here is I'm going to show you how to sell item. Then from there, I'll show you how to check your records for sales and how to check your inventory level. And also, we will now dive into the aspect of people selling pieces, product in pieces. So now, without wasting much of our time, let's get started. In case you've not signed up on this website yet, please don't forget to sign up on ivify.com.ng. Now, to sell an item, first of all, if you remember from the previous video, I show you how to check the inventory. When you're in the inventory page, you can check the inventory. So over here, I have three products, right? I have Fanta, I have Indomie, and I have Super Pack. Okay. So now for this particular product, okay, these three products, the Indomie is 10, the Fanta is 20, while the Sprite is also 10. But before I proceed, let me try and do some changes. I want to do some changes. Sorry. Okay. All right. Let me try and do some changes over here. All right. So, okay. So now these are the old products I will have now. What is happening here is, if you want to sell one of these products, assuming I want to sell Fanta, okay, I want to sell Fanta, now I'll click on this sell item. You toggle the button as usual, and then you click on sell item. Then over here, you come to the top, you click on click to sell item. Then when you click on that button, then you will now search for Fanta. You can also follow up this particular information. This guide is also helpful. But over here too, I'll still elaborate on how to sell. So you search for Fanta, you put F-A-N. You don't need to type out the whole word. All you need to do is just put the right word that will give the computer a hint of what you were trying to search for. So the computer will search your database and look for the product name that matches, or product number, that's product ID that matches what you input in your input field. So now for the Fanta, I can just put F-A-N-T. I don't have to complete it, so I will just search and I'll have Fanta. Then what I will do next is I'll click on the name of the Fanta. I won't click on the title. I will click on the name. Okay, I won't click on the title. I'll click on the name. I can click on any part of this. The bottom section, you don't click on the upper section, you click on the bottom section. So I'll click on Fanta. Then all this information will be info. Okay, sorry. I've not updated this. Okay, sorry. Let me just search again. Let me do it one again. Fanta. And then click on this. I'll still come back to that aspect later. The aspect I just refreshed, I'll come back to it later, but I don't want to talk about that one now. So in order to avoid confusion, so I'll click on the Fanta and then I'll search for it just like I did. Then the whole information will be filled up. You see, if you watch the last video, you see that when we are registering product, we have to input the price of the product. Okay, so the price when I inputted it was 4,000, so that's why I'm having 4,000 over here. So you don't need to manually input the price. The price is already there. Okay, so now the thing is, if your own business does not align with this, you want to be inputting the price by yourself, there's a way you can remove the price also. Okay, you can remove this auto filling of price, but we'll come back to that one later. Okay, but let me just show this one for now. So now Fanta, I'm selling one. So I will record the sales. Click on record sales, and today, and then I can decide to change date, maybe a back date, maybe if it is yesterday. But that one is based on admin privilege. Okay, if you are not an admin, you can't backdate the date. Okay, so if you by default it would take the exact time, which is 8:33 a.m. right now. So then I'll click and then I'll submit. So I've already recorded the sales successfully. Okay, sorry, let me go back to the inventory page. Now you see the Fanta has reduced from 20 to 19. Okay, so it means the software is working as expected. So now the next thing, if I want to sell another item, I can also print the receipt, but that's left. for me to decide. If I feel like printing it, I can print it. And if I don't want to be getting the pop-up of this receipt anytime at the point of sales, okay, there's a way you can remove it also. We'll talk about that one later, okay, in another video. But this one is mainly for selling item. Okay, so now I've sold the item. I can now check detail record about the item. I can come to the sales record and check detail record. So I can see, you see, for today I've sold Fanta, and before I sold it, it was 20. Now I sold one, it remained 19, and the price per unit for each one is 4,000. So that means the cost, since I sold one, is going to be 4,000 definitely. So the time I sold it and the person that closed the date, and also I can delete the sales if I make mistake, but that is not a feature that is accessible to everybody. It's only accessible to the admin. Okay, if you are not an admin, you can't actually delete the sales record. Okay, so we'll talk about all those one later too. So now this is 19. Now if I decide to sell again, decide to sell more item. Now I want to sell Indomie, right? Let me search. You put the name Indomie in the input field and then click on this blue button. Okay, and then you search. Okay, as usual. Okay, it brought up 3 items. So since it's Indomie that I want to sell rather, I'll click on the name of Indomie. Then it will fill it up. Then I have one. Then in a situation whereby maybe the customer wants to buy more than one product, maybe you want to buy Fanta also, I can click on the same Fanta. Okay, instead of submitting and then coming back to, that will be redundant and time wasting. So you can just click on that same Fanta on that same transaction as far as it's the same customer. You can click on the Fanta and then you click on okay, and then you can search for the Fanta rather. I have 19 now. I'm selling 2. Okay, I'm selling 2 now. So I'm selling 2 out of the 19. So over here I'm selling 1 Indomie Super Pack. Indomie Super Pack was 10. Now I'm selling 1. Or maybe let me just sell 1 of the Fanta too, so that the Fanta will be 18. This one will be 9 rather, the Indomie Super Pack. So now I can now click on this button and then I'll confirm the transaction. So I will wait. Okay, well, the first one has been sold. Okay, all product has been sold successfully. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is to check the inventory level again. Okay, let me duplicate the tab. Okay, let me try and okay. So now you can see now the Fanta is now 19. Sorry, it was 19 before, now it's now 18. The Indomie Super Pack was 10. When I sold one, it remained 9. This one is still intact, 10. This one I want to show something about. That's why I didn't sell it yet. So I want to demonstrate something. Okay. So now I can check my sales record too. And check. Okay, so now when I check my sales record, you see the first Fanta I sold was 20. Okay, I've already explained talk about this. So the next one I sold 19. It was 19 before I sold one, it remained 18. Then the total cost is 4,000. Now this next one I sold 10. Sorry, I had 10 before I sold one, it remained 9. Everything making 2,500. Now if I want to know how much I've made for the day, so I can just calculate. Instead of using calculator to calculate, you can just check here 10,500. That's your total sales, and it's right. 4,000 plus 4,000 will give you 8,000. Plus 2,500 will give you 10,500. And also, this is a graph that is showing how my sales is going. So you see my sales drop as at 8:36. I started high, then later it dropped. So that's just so with this kind of graph, you can actually investigate and see at what point is your sales, is the sales spiking up at what. So this software is very good. It gives you more insight to how your business is going. So you don't just, so even you can even be monitoring the trend. You can see that, okay, as at maybe when you are about to close, you are getting more sales, and then you see all this kind of information are good, and then that will give you a lot of insight to how to make a decision based on your business. So now I can see that the total sales is 10,500, and the product I've sold here is Fanta and Indomie. So the Fanta I made more money from Fanta because 4,000 plus 4,000, 8,000. This one is just 2,500. So that's why the Fanta is at the top. In a real practical sense, you have up to like 150 products, okay? But this, I'm just having 3 products. So this will give you just a summary of which product is moving faster. So you'll be able to know which of your product is moving faster, and you can know from here you know the product sold, which is 2. Okay, so that's how the whole thing works. Now for this aspect I want to do, okay, if you are not selling any item in pieces, you don't need to watch it, you can skip this part. Okay, if you are into maybe automobile, or you are selling automobile parts, or you're selling electronics, it's not applicable to you. So this is applicable to people selling product in pieces like provisions. So now coming over here, when you want to sell an item, okay, it's still the same thing. Now for that particular product, you can see this, the only difference is that now I have packages, right? I have package. Before, when I want to sell, there's nothing like package. Now if you want to sell like Sprite, now I can click on it. When I click on it, I click on Sprite, then it will ask me, am I to sell in bulk or in pieces? What it means, Sprite is a drink. Let's assume Sprite is in a bottle, we have one crate of, we have 10 bottle of Sprite in one crate, alright? So if I want to sell, if I choose bulk, that means I'm selling one crate of Sprite. Okay, sorry, I'm selling that crate of Sprite. That means if I put bulk, let me show you. The price has already been automatically inputted. And when I put 1, so it means I'm selling 1 crate. If I put 2, I'm selling 2. If I put 3, I'm selling 3, right? So, but if it is 1 bottle, maybe the customer is just want to buy 1 bottle. Okay, so I can just choose pieces. The same thing applicable to clothing. Okay, the same thing applicable to clothing also, and books. So if you are selling in bulk, you choose that you're selling in bulk. If you're selling in pieces, if it is just 1 piece, you choose that you're selling in pieces. So now for this particular Sprite, now I'm selling 1 crate, right? So it's going to be in bulk, not in pieces. So I'll put, let me say, how many crates do I want to sell? I want to sell 1. Okay, so now I will now input it. Okay, I will now fill out the information, and then okay, see, I've sold 1 crate. So when you check the sales record now, sorry, let me go to the sales record. You can see that the Sprite now, they reduced from 10 to 9 because I sold 1. So I don't need to talk about it. We've already talked about all this information. Now in a situation whereby I sold in pieces, okay, now that same Sprite, I didn't sell in bulk, I'm selling in pieces. That is, somebody came and bought 1 bottle of Sprite, just 1 bottle. Okay, so now I will now input it, the 1 bottle over here, and I will input the information, and then I will record the sales. So after I record the sales successfully, then I can come back here and check my sales record. Okay, now I sold Sprite. Now look at what is playing out here. Now you see over here, since it's 1 crate, right? I sold 1 crate, and each crate, according to my unit per bulk, if you check the previous video where I explained that unit per bulk, each, according to my own unit per bulk, the unit per bulk, that is 10 bottles of Sprite make 1 crate for the units per bulk that I put when I was registering for the Sprite. Now when I sold this Sprite, I sold 1 crate. So normally the 10 that you are seeing here it means 10 crates. So when I sold 1, it's just simple arithmetic. That will be 10 minus 1, right? So that will be 10 minus 1. Then when you have that 10 minus 1, you have 9 crates left, right? That's not an issue. Now coming to these pieces, since I sold 1 bottle, not 1 crate, so 1 bottle is not up to a crate. I need like 10 bottles to make 1 crate. So I can't just directly remove 1 from 9 to give 8. It doesn't make sense. So what is going to play out is, since I have 9 crates over here, I have 9 crates of Sprite over here. Now each crate has 10 bottles of Sprite, right? Each crate has 10 bottles of Sprite. So that means altogether I have 90 bottles of Sprite for all around the crates. Now, if I sell 1 bottle out of the 90 bottles, I'll be left with what? I'll be left with 89 bottles. So now 89 bottles, when you come here, you are not going to see 89 because why? This is being calculated in crates. So that means out of the 89 bottles, if I remove 80 minus 9, 80 minus, 89 minus 9, that 9 that is left, if I remove 9, I will be left with 80 bottles. Now, 80 bottles in a real sense, if one crate of Sprite, if you have 10 bottles of Sprite in one crate, that means 80 bottles of Sprite in a real sense is 8 crates. So that's why I have that 8 crate. Now, remaining the other 9 that I removed, since that 9 is not up to a crate, okay, since that 9 is not up to a crate, because it has to be 10 for it to be up to a crate, so that this whole thing will be 9. But since that 9 is not up to a crate, so it will be 8 crates, 9 bottles. 8 crates, 9 bottles. What I have left, okay? So, and also the same thing when you sum up the whole of this whole thing, the calculation, you see that the whole amount is 13,850, and this is another the trend of the market, how it's going, okay? So the same thing applicable to this particular information is also applicable to fashion. Okay, when you're selling set of clothes to the same thing applicable. When you're selling books to set of books to the same thing applicable. That's if you are selling in pieces. But if you are not selling in pieces, you don't need all this complicated calculation. So once again, let me explain this whole thing. We have for Sprite, I inputted that I have 10 bottles of 10 bottles for Sprite in one crate. Now normally this quantity before is showing that 9 bottles. Sorry, I have 9 crates rather. Now I now sold 1 bottle, not 1 crate. If it was 1 crate, it would just simply be 9 minus 1, which will just give 8 straight up, right? So now, but it's 1 bottle of Sprite that I sold. Now, if I sold 1 bottle of Sprite, do the math. If I sold 1 bottle of Sprite, that means if I sum up the whole of, let me just break it down so that you won't get confused. 10 bottles make 1 crate, right? So now if I have 9 crates before I sold 1 bottle of Sprite, so logically I have 90 bottles, right, of Sprite. Now I sold 1 bottle out of that 90. What will I have left? I will have 89 bottles, right? Now if I have that 89 bottles, now the 89 bottles, we want to depict it in crate form, because we are dealing with crates over here. So that means for each, when I will first remove that 9, okay, to avoid confusion. So I'll remove that 9 from 89. I'll say 80 minus 9. I will have, if I say 80 minus 9, I will have 80. So that 80, since 10 bottles of Sprite make 1 crate. So that means 80 bottles of Sprite will make 8 crates. This is just simple arithmetic. So 8 crates, I have it aside. Then with the other 9 bottles that I have left, okay, that's why I have 8 and 9. So this particular box is showing bulk. This round circle, blue circle, is showing pieces. Okay, so I'll have 8 crates, 9 bottles left. Okay, so but if you still have any, you are not clear with this whole thing, you can still reach out to us on our on WhatsApp, or maybe through our email address. We'll explain to you much more better. Alright, so thank you for watching the video, and don't forget, if you've not sign up for this website, don't forget to sign up on ivify.com.ng and try and share the link with others, and try and watch our other videos too coming up. Okay, now we are going to, in the next video, we are going to explain again about the product itself. We are going to go in details on each product. What are the things that you could check about the product? Okay, so thank you for watching this video.